Alright, on to another day. So far we've just continued recovering from stability as well as continuing to build up this province. I'm getting the full benefit of the province too, which is amazing. At least now I'm earning 15 per year now that the revocation of privileges modifier no longer applies. So it should only take 4 years. Right? No, 3 years. Yeah, 3 times 15 is 45, so yep, just 3 more years. Then I'll no longer have all of this up here. I mean, Liturgy Desire is okay-ish. Although I don't actually need it. Since my own Liberty Desire is already 95%. The reason why I want it high is twofold. First off, no vassal tax, so I earn more money. The one time that's not the case is if my tax income happens to be negative, which is only the case if I have enough overextension. To basically counteract my entire tax income. However, since I've been centralizing, my tax income has been increasing constantly. So it would take a lot of overextension for me to actually lose money. The other is transfer trade power. I would have to give up half of my own trade power, which is honestly pretty bad. I do not want to do that. It's a terrible idea. Profiteering in Osaka. Satu. Neither of these modifiers are great. Because I'll take even more trade power. The cost of trade value. Now, that event is actually pretty good if you have a next to worthless province, because there are 2 modifiers, either -2 unrest plus 10%, or is it 15%? Plus 10% trade power and minus 50% trade value. That one is never really a good one, except in provinces that have a lot of trade power but very little trade value. Basically, trade centers that don't yet have big cities on them. The other one is +2 unrest, minus 10% trade power, but plus 0.25 trade power. That one's most useful for a random province in the middle of nowhere. You know, like in Siberia or something. So long as the unrest isn't an issue. An example for me that would be fine with me would be, say, Falky or Bingo or Bidiu. Those barely have any trade power. So the minus 10%, so the plus 0.25 outweighs the minus 10%. Yeah, the base is 1. It would increase to 1.25, however the minus 10% means that I would reduce it by 0.125, so I would gain 0.125. And then that's not even including the rest of the trade power efficiency modifiers in that province. Anyway, I'll get caravels after, well, once the penalty disappears. Since there's no point in doing anything but waiting, so long as the education modifier actually stays. Because it's been oscillating a lot recently. The reason why it hasn't done it recently, is because I put a ton of money in all at once. In fact, I'll do it again, just to be sure. Besides, I was going to put a similar amount of money in anywhere. It should be fine. Just have to quietly wait for the population to hit 10k. It just did, okay. Yep. 28 months. Yeah, okay, so I won't get a reduced cost for anything else after I build this. I don't think I'd be able to afford a university anywhere. Some of the current rate to gain money. How much money do I gain each month? Last time I remember it was approximately 10. Now it's approximately 13. Might be from the increased amount of trade power from my main province, though. As well as its steadily rising amounts of tax production. Why? Because wealth is increasing. Wealth increases by a certain amount each year based upon literally exports of extra food or agricultural products. Like here it's indigo dye, which actually isn't a food. But yeah. Second is from trade power, which has jumped in this province. And finally there's urban production, which, while almost non-existent at the moment, is steadily increasing as the population increases too. Probably should do that before the month goes. Yeah, situation isn't stellar. Even I'd admit that. Finally, a normal amount of stability. Okay. Right. Time to. Now that the worst is finally over, so is not a threat. If yep, not a threat whatsoever. And Suwa. Oh. No? Oh, yeah, it's those guys. Okay. I think I can go ahead and raise army maintenance. Force limit of 8. That's gonna be a lot of money to increase. And I don't really need that much more of an army to fight off a couple of the proto-daimyos. Although, by this point, yeah, the definition of daimyo came around 1444. Well, around that time period. At the very least, just beforehand, before the next evolution of whatever the Japanese subjects were. It came, yeah, so it came around at that point. So I probably can call them not proto-daimyos, but just directly daimyos. Since it's by now that time point. I would actually have to look up when the concept of a daimyo first evolved. I actually could go ahead and do that. Yeah, so the Shugo daimyo were the first group of men to hold the title daimyo. They rose from the Shugo. And they hold basically military, police, and economic powers within the province. So the Sengoku daimyos were pretty much the Japanese subjects of the Sengoku period. Which was the time period of, well, the EU4 start date. This changed again at the start of the Edo period, which was in 1600. The daimyos were reorganized into 200 Hans, assessed by rice production. the Hans that had 50,000 or more bushels of rice were considered daimyos. And after the Meiji Restoration in 1869, the 200 daimyos were redistributed into 75 prefectures. Some of the previous daimyos ended up being rulers of the prefectures, but only for a short period. And then called en masse to Tokyo so that they no longer had the capability to rebel. The reason why the Emperor was even able to, the Emperor was able to reorganize territories like this was because of the collapse of the feudal economy, which kept them from having enough power to rebel. Of course, having control of vast territories of land meant that they had enough money to easily work with. Huh? They seem a lot softer. Oh well. I'm gonna get my navy under control. I'll declare war next month. Or just now. How many favors? 40, yeah. I'll call in some favors. Not because I actually need them, it's mainly just so that they can deal with Suwa over there. Heavily restrict looting. I do not need. I want to conquer the provinces. Directly. I guess they could have always been called daimyos. It's just that's kind of like how the relationship between kings and their subjects in Europe, and honestly almost every society. Evolution of culture is something that's pretty consistent throughout human history and human civilizations. Cultures slowly change, evolve, and incorporate new ideas. I mean, that's part of the point of it. It's a way for people to store vast amounts of knowledge in a short period. Wait. Maybe I should have been paying more attention. I need more troops to siege that town. Great. That's gonna be enough troops. And thankfully it doesn't seem like they're going to be setting them anywhere that's currently being sieged. Although it looks like I might lose the province. Oh, so that's where that one is, okay. If I get there fast, in fact, if I... I'm gonna wait until they... Yeah, because if I get there quickly... I'm gonna wait until their movement is locked, so... To minimize risk to self. Because a fort with a garrison less than 100 will be automatically taken. Heck, I've got a 30... Siege status 38. Must be from the lack of garrison. So I'll get it back immediately. Run? Last thing I need is to lose a quarter of their troops. Because while I do want the greater nobles to weaken, I don't want to lose out too much in the process. Thankfully they only have infantry, so... Well, I do seem to be at a bit of a disadvantage. in the fire phase, the shock phase, it should be a lot more devastating. Yeah. Their morale just drained. Cavalry is so freaking good. Anyway, with the invention of the printing press, it's just a capital upgrade, isn't it? While researching the printing press, it was painfully slow to copy a book by hand, and carved wooden block prints were nearly as difficult to make. The invention of movable type by Johann Gutenberg in the 1430s spurred a new wave of cheaply printed books and a change from book printers to publishing houses. To change from delegated rulers to a full-scale bureaucracy. Okay, so that siege is done. Ah, joy. Anyway, let's check and see. Yeah, I can build a university here now. Yeah, it's not enough to affect autonomy, and unrest is, well, a bit bad. It's most of all from here, so it'll be gone eventually. Besides, the benefit from cheaper education, or, well, better structured education, outweighs the costs. There we go. Let's do your trade. Bend over, give gold. Treat the soldiers well. Quite a bit of money. Without any of the negative side effects. How many years have been played? Over the course of approximately an hour. 6 years. Interesting. Well then. Until tomorrow.